Coming up on Motorhead Garage, we've got creative ways to light up your life, or at least your vehicle.
Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest and exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Motorhead Garage is presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
Welcome to another edition of Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. You know, Jeeps are great, but once you get one, it's always one more thing, and then one more thing, and one more thing to add to it, and before you know it, you've got a whole new vehicle. But there's something you should really think of first, Austin, and it's the lights. They help you to be seen better, and they also help you see better while you're driving, so it's a safety issue. Tell me, first of all, what's wrong with the factory lights that come on a Jeep?
Well, a lot of the times you're just receiving a dull light. You know, Jeep understands that they are going to be replaced, and so they're not going to put anything out on it. They do have their LED packages for upgrades and stuff like that, but that's essentially what you're doing when you go with us. You're just not doing it through dealerships.
So the factory lights are certainly adequate for on the road, but when you start going off-roading, you're dealing with elevation changes.
It is very bare minimum. When you're going into upgraded accessories and the lighting, you're definitely going to want output and performance, especially with safety. Being able to see more than 10 feet in front of you, just past traffic, is going to be important when you're actually off-roading and going towards places that only have moonlight.
So let's talk about the performance at Code 4 LED. What kind of output are these lights giving?
So on our standard lights, we're going to be putting out anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 lumens. On our high end, especially something like we put on this JT here, we're going to be getting close to 9,000 to 10,000 lumens on output. You're essentially putting a light bar on the front end of your Jeep without trying.
On a Jeep, these have to be really, really durable, so you have to make sure that they're going to last.
Well, one of the things that we're looking at is our IP ratings, which is going to be your waterproof ability, your weathering, fogging, that kind of stuff. Now, let's say on our lenses, you don't want just a regular old plastic or glass because you're going to get breaks and scratches. Now, we've got polycarbonate on here, which allows you to prevent more of those scratches on the heavier rocks and debris that may come up on the front end of your vehicle, which is very important because, I don't know if you know this, but PC product is actually used in jails to prevent busting from glass.
Why would I know that?
I don't know, but it's there. You know, a lot of times when you're looking at build quality, you're not looking at all your heat venting and your wiring. You want to make sure that your connections are very solidly put together. Not only that, but anytime that you're looking at problems for potential shorting, that's going to come out of your connections being poorly put together. No shrink wrap, no pan head connectors to make sure that you're getting a proper connection, pinchable prongs to make sure you have a tight fitment. All those kinds of things that go into the build quality of a light are what is essential for making sure that it is a bright and long-lasting light.
You guys aren't messing around. You've got great lights to begin with. What if there's an issue with the light down the road?
Well, if there's an issue with the light down the road, one, I've got the problem, not you, because I'm going to be sending out a new light as soon as it's verified. I don't have you return lights, anything like that. I just send you out a new one. Follow our lifetime warranty, which is unmatched. You can ask anybody that we work with, anybody that's ever had a warranty with us, and they will tell you that it's been done within a week.
Well, obviously you do headlights and tail lights. In addition to that, what do you offer at Code 4?
We do light bars, pods, any mounting solutions, wiring solutions, anything that you could really come up with for us to potentially fix for you. We will do that within Code 4. If one person's going to want it, another person's going to need it. That's kind of the motto that we live with as far as getting new product and helping people out.
You mentioned the pods. Obviously, we have one amber on here, one white. You're going to get a matching set. We did this for demonstration purposes.
This is for demonstration purposes.
And we also showed how to install all of this. Quickly, what is the process like to install one of your lights?
First, you want to start out with some good basic knowledge of electrical, understanding, you know, touching two leads together, you're going to get a short. Now, as far as basic install for our lights, there are a lot of references and videos, not only from our website, but also YouTube. Whatever you have as far as a 7-inch headlight, let's say brake lights, pod lights, mounting solutions, there's always something out there that's referenceable. So it's very easy. But as far as reference from us, you can give us a call, and we will help you personally too as far as our knowledge.
And of course you guys aren't just about Jeeps. We just brought this in for demonstration purposes.
Yeah, no, we do side-by-sides, we do boats, we do Sprinter vans, we do anything that runs on a motor, really. I mean, you got 12-volt power, we'll put a light on it.
And it's not just lights, you guys also have a way to control them.
Yeah, we provide different switch solutions like our Control 8. We also have new switch solutions coming out all the time for different models of vehicles. So you have custom fitment.
Code 4 LED Supply has lights that are going to make your Jeep look better. Going to make it a whole lot safer when you're out there on the trail. Check them out at code4ledsupply.com. And you can check out more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings when we come back.
Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is brought to you by RockAuto.com. All the parts your car will ever need. BrothersTrucks.com, your #1 source for 1947 to 87 Chevy and GMC truck restoration. Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. NH Oil Undercoating, the official oil-based rust prevention system. And by Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radios since 1977.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. If you've been in the market, you've seen all kinds of companies that make tools and they make products for sanding and finishing on your automobile. Well, now here's a one-stop shop here. Dylan, it's Rupes. Why haven't I heard of you guys?
Well, so Rupes has actually been around for a long time, since 1947 actually, and they were founded in Italy. We just recently 2012, came to the U.S. with our Bigfoot polishing system and kind of exploded all over the detailing market, and it's finding its way into body shops and all kinds of things. But really, we are, to your point, a company that focuses entirely on sanding, polishing, finishing for automotive finishes. Our flagship system, though, is the Bigfoot polishing system. That's a large stroke random orbital system that we innovated. And there's tons of copies of this out there on the market that we invented the technology. And we actually build it here in the U.S. We have our Colorado facility where things like this LHR-15 are assembled, and we opened a pad and compound manufacturing facility in Houston, Texas. So really, when you buy a system from us, you're getting a truly 100% American-made system, and if there's anything that isn't, it's coming out of our Italian company. So we are really kind of a solution-based company that's looking at solving finishing and sanding problems, and we're doing it right here in the U.S.
And you talk about systems. How do I know that's not just a ploy to get me to buy all my stuff from Rupes?
Because this was such innovative and new technology, there weren't pads and compounds designed to support tools like this. It really would just chew up the pads that were existing on the market from other companies. So we, out of necessity, essentially had to become a pad manufacturer and a compound blending company. So I like to tell people these are products that are born out of the same womb. The pads, the compounds, and the tool are all designed together to work in a really synergistic way. Makes it so that there's low vibration, incredible ease of use. The results are fantastic. We can do a lot more in a lot less time with a lot less product. And that's really, efficiency is what we're all about.
Now here's something these guys showed me before we got started here, Todd. This is your DA, and I made a mistake of calling it a sander.
It's actually both. So this is our LHR-12 Duetto, which is a dual action polisher and sander. It can be used for both. And what makes this really unique, Dylan talked about how we are a professional company, but what's cool about this tool is the end user can use it. Your guy in the garage who wants a professional show car finish can grab it, put on the right pad and compound, which we're gonna walk you guys through, and create an amazing result really, really fast.
How does that stand out from other products on the market?
What's nice about the Duetto, which is its name in Italian, that means duet. So your end user can put a piece of sandpaper on it, knock out some deep scratches and imperfections, or they can use it just to polish. Now, everything that we have except for the motor is assembled in the United States. The motor comes from Italy. So the quality is amazing. And because we have a factory in the US, the customer can ship it right back to our facility in Colorado and get it repaired at the factory that builds it. It's like sending your car back to the factory for a warranty repair.
And there again, we're talking efficiency, using the same tool for two different things.
Same tool for everything, yeah. And the size of this, the orbit and the pad diameter means it's really the only tool you need to go around the whole car.
You know, a lot of those, you hold on to them and you get fatigued by the end of the day. You lose strength in your hands from holding on to that all the time. How does that work with Rupes?
With a lot of dual action polishers, because they have an orbital movement, they vibrate. It's just natural of throwing this backing plate around. Rupes, when we developed the large diameter random orbital polishers in 2012, we realized the importance of balancing the system. So when you put the right pad on it, it's almost vibration free. In fact, it's one of the biggest things our professional customers tell us is how they use these things all day and have no vibration, no fatigue. We had a guy come up to Dylan and I at SEMA 3 years ago and actually broke down in tears because he couldn't polish anymore due to carpal tunnel syndrome. And he said our polishers are allowing him to provide for his family.
Now you guys have talked about the Rupes system.
Sure.
It's not just about the tool, you brought the compound as well. And earlier we saw how you can apply all of that to the hood of a car that we brought in.
Yeah, we actually took the Duetto with our Uno Protect, which is a one-step polish compound and wax. So it kind of covers the whole gambit of paint correction and adds protection. It's a great product for customers to use in their garage. So we took a car out in the parking lot that was a little beat up, and all we did with that was apply our yellow wool, which is a medium wool polishing pad. You add a little compound on it, you take the Duetto, set it on speed 3 or 4, apply it slowly and smoothly in overlapping passes, let it sit for about 15 minutes and wipe it off, and literally transform that car into a show car finish in all of 30 minutes.
Need about 6 gallons of that for my vehicle.
Oh, well, one of the nice things about Rupus is because of our efficiency, you only need a couple drops.
Check out rupususa.com. They have system-based solutions for your application. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Keep it right here. Welcome back to Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. If you have ever towed a trailer behind your truck or car, you know that it's a white knuckle ride. It can be hard on the vehicle, it can be hard on the driver, it can be hard on the trailer as well. But there's a solution now. AirSafe Hitches has come up with a way to make towing safer and to make it a lot more comfortable. Tell me what AirSafe Hitches offers.
They offer 3 versions, the gooseneck, fifth wheel, and receiver to go on any trailer. Smooths out the ride by 90%, and it's all controlled by the airbags. All of our hitches are U.S. made in Minnesota and shipped from our warehouse there.
It all started with the gooseneck there. How long has that been around?
25 years at least.
What's the warranty like?
2 years on everything, but I've been selling these hitches for 18 years. I got customers that haven't replaced any parts on any hitch.
Well, let's talk about the construction that makes that possible.
They're heavy-duty steel. Everything is powder-coated so it doesn't rust, and we have very strong metal. I do not know of a case where we've totaled a hitch.
And the rubber itself, that stands out to me as something that might be the weak point, but you say it's not the case.
Right. The airbags on the gooseneck and the receiver are custom bags by a company out of California, and the airbags on the fifth wheel are Firestone airbags, same one used in the trucking industry.
And it takes a whole lot more beating with the semi-truck than it would here.
Correct.
Now let's talk about the physics of the whole thing. How does an AirSafe hitch actually make towing easier on my vehicle?
Well, basically, your truck and trailer on a rigid hitch, it'll bump, everything goes up and down. Your back wheel's hit, it brings the trailer down. Back wheel, the trailer hit, it brings it up. So what the air hitch does, it puts a cushion in between. It's like putting a trampoline in between the truck and trailer so that it smooths out the ride. One doesn't affect the other one.
What's installation like on these?
Very easy. The gooseneck, this goes up in your receiver tube, sits down on the ball, and you adjust the air the first time. There's an indicator on the side with a green stripe where you want to be with the trailer attached. And that's really all you need to do. When you want to unhook, you don't do anything with the air. You just lift it off the ball, and the next time you go back to the same level you had. So if you have like a horse trailer, your weight usually doesn't change.
And for the fifth wheel, it just bolts on. There's adapters for different vehicles.
Right, there's adapters for the Ford, Dodge, and GMC, and they're all different.
And of course for the receiver, that slides in just like your regular hitch would.
Receiver is 2-inch, 2.5-inch, or 3-inch receiver tube, anywhere from the low end of 400 to 500 pounds to 3,000 pounds of tongue weight and 30,000 pound trailer.
And AirSafe hitches, you've thought of everything, including the bracketry as well.
Right, we have a bracket for the weight distribution, a standard ball mount, and then we have one where people have a couple different trailers they want to pull at different levels. So we have an adjustable ball mount that bolts on our hitch, and then these pins you just pull to raise or lower to the height that you need, put them back on.
Well, AirSafe hitches makes it easier to tow your vehicle, makes it a lot more comfortable, makes it a whole lot safer. Check them out at airsafehitches.com. You know, grinding has been around forever, and there are all kinds of specific grinding tools for particular jobs. But guess what? All of those tools are wrapped up here in one. This is the Ameribraid Fastback. Tell me, Kevin, how is this tool so versatile?
Here's your real traditional grinder right here. We made sure we got to do all the traditional style grinder, very good with the machines. You got a work rest right here, perfect for profiling. You know, if you got a little tab or something like this that you cut out with a plasma cutter, torch or something, we can come in here and start cleaning stuff. You could also pop this work rest out and go horizontal with it. That allows us to flip the machine over and go vertical. We got some variable speed too, so you go a little slower.
And that's worth the price of admission right there, but it can do a whole lot more than that.
Yes, it can. You know, like I talked about, you said it's a lot of grinders in one, so now a lot of the problems you usually have when you make a tab like this is if this were a seat tab or a shock tab or something like that, maybe on a race car or a chassis, you have to notch this out to fit on that tubing. So let's show you how we do that real quick with this machine, the Fastback.
How many different attachments are there for the machine?
Somewhere around a dozen right now, and always adding more. You can throw any other attachment in. The one I'm going to show you right now is called the small wheel holder.
Now, how often do you get somebody coming up and saying, hey, do you have an attachment for XYZ? And you say, I don't, but you make a new one for them.
All the time.
Yeah?
So yeah, we're always thinking, always listening to feedback from the customers because our end goal is to make this as versatile and handy as we can. Yeah, it works great for small garages, works great on the road, like you said, in trailers, stuff like that. For this one, we make these mandrels from 1/4 inch to 2 inch and 1/4 inch increments. I'm gonna show you guys the 1.5 inch one, and you just reroute your belt back over.
Is it using the same belt for all the grinding applications, basically?
Yeah, same belt. It's 2 inches wide, 72 inches long, very common belt. You could buy it anywhere. If I wanted to freehand, which I usually do most of the time, we can come in here and notch that out.
Cool, and you can do that freehand. You can also add the work table as well?
Yeah, so you know, now it helps us do that. We've got all different size manuals. But like you said, if maybe you don't want to freehand that, you can also use this work rest. And two, you feel free to use angles if you need to. And this works great in the horizontal position. Come right back in. You can do that if you like. I mean, you can really use it for anything your imagination can conceive, but a lot of people need to notch tubes, and this works great for that. So you switch the work rest like this. We have some methods. You could follow us, look online for making sure this gets squared up. Make sure we lock everything down here. Go ahead and fire up. And I'll put a little notch in this 1.25 inch tube. Simple as that. Real traditional classic notch.
If you've got a small shop or you're taking your shop on the road, this might be the only tool you need, and it is made in the USA, every bit of it. Check them out at ameribraid.com. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, so keep it right here.
Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is brought to you by Steel Rubber Products, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping. Resin Works, made in America, installed locally. Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. And by Colby Valve, the only valve stem you install from the outside.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. You know, the UTV market is exploding. There's all kinds of accessories out there, and I've seen lots of tire racks, but this one, Kevin, rises above some of the rest, literally, from you. It's side-by-side extreme. Tell me what you've designed here and why it's different.
This is our new tire carrier. This is our 4th generation. The reason we built these tire carriers is so you can see underneath them when you're driving down the trail. There's nothing worse than not being able to see the people behind you. The side mirrors do only so much, and your rearview mirror really comes into play when you have these tire carriers. The other thing was the safety factor to have your tire with you all the time. People always say, I don't need a tire carrier. Well, why not? Because it vibrates too much. This has no vibration, it makes no noise, it doesn't rattle, so once it's on there, it's solid. These bars are actually designed the way they are because the vibration that starts at the head up here, as it comes down to the arm, the vibration goes away. So the torsion that's put on these bars, the way they're built, is very little torsion on your arms down here on the roll cage. I've seen numerous guys where they're driving down the trail and you get back to the truck at the end of the day, it's like, where'd my tire go? Well, it ripped the welds right out of the bar because it's sitting there going back and forth the whole time. This doesn't have that option. This is sitting out there and it's barely moving. So you've got a lot of strength, a lot of rigidity. This is a 120 wall, 1.5 inch tubing, 1/4 inch solid plate. Brackets are all 6-bolt solid bars, so you don't have that issue. These are put on with a stainless steel bolt. We've got to recommend highly to use the NSEs because stainless steel and steel don't like themselves together. You torque these down to 11 foot-pounds, take a ride or two, retorque them. Take 8 or 10 rides, retorque them. Make sure that your bolts stay tight and you won't have any problems with these things. In fact, my brother and I have stood on top of this exact carrier that's on my car and bounced up and down on it, and that's over 500 pounds of weight. So, you know, they'll hold up to the weight, they'll hold up the tires, even up to 32-inch tire.
The fact that these are made specifically for different vehicles, different models, means it's going to fit perfectly, means it won't rattle, and it's not going to come off. How many different makes and models do you cover?
Right now we do about 12. Most of the stuff we've got now fits from about 2014 up to about 2018. After 2020, 21, they all changed cages. They all did something different to them. So we've got to get the new models in, be able to mock up off of those and get those out on the market as well. We're trying to make them fit all of them.
It's the tire carrier that rises above the rest, literally, and you can find one for your vehicle at sxsextreme.com.
Time now for the lowdown with Magic Creeper.
We've shown you the Magic Creeper and how you can use it around your garage or maybe even in the house when conditions are perfect, when you're doing maintenance on your vehicle. It's a very handy tool. But of course, where the Magic Creeper shines is when you're out in the elements. Check this out. Got some snow and slush. And if you've got a flat tire, you're in big trouble here. You're getting your clothes all dirty, and of course, you're going to be late to where you're going. The Magic Creeper, you can just drop it down. The Magic Creeper gets dirty. You can do all the work you need to right here. But what if you need to get under the vehicle? Guess what? The Magic Creeper rolls out, and it gets dirty, and you don't. So if you need to get under the vehicle for some reason, just put the Magic Creeper down in the mud or the snow, whatever the conditions. You can get underneath. Yeah, you're gonna get a little bit dirty, but if you have the optional emergency kit that comes with the Magic Creeper, you get some gloves and you get some stuff to protect your clothing as well. You can do the maintenance work you need to do underneath with whatever emergency fix you need to do. Roll back out and you are on your way. The Magic Creeper gets dirty and wet and gross, and you do not. You just roll it back up, and when you get home, use your favorite cleaning product, clean it. The Magic Creeper is good to go. You stay dry, you stay clean. The Magic Creeper gets dirty and it does all the work for you. Check out the original Magic Creeper at magiccreeper.com. Well, that is the end of this episode, but don't you worry, because we're going to do it once again next week. In the meantime, you can join us on Facebook, tell us how we're doing, and if you have a product you want to see on the show, email Jeff at masterstv.com. We'll see you next time on Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. So long.